Hello, students. Today we'll be examining an important ethical case involving tube-fed nutrition, patient autonomy, and dementia care. As your instructor, I want to guide you through analyzing the situation using our code of ethics for the nutrition and dietetics profession. So first, let's identify whether this is an ethical issue or a business dispute. So with this particular case, it is clearly an ethical issue and it requires our careful consideration. We have a current patient expressing a desire to discontinue tube feeding, while her daughter disagrees with this decision due to concerns about her mother's dementia. The daughter specifically has concerns that her mother will not be able to um, efficiently and consistently remember when to eat or drink, possibly causing nutrition concerns and malnutrition down the road. This situation involves fundamental questions about patient autonomy, decision-making capacity, and the balance between respecting patient wishes and ensuring appropriate medical care. So these elements firmly place this in the realm of ethics rather than business. Let's first examine the specific principles from our 2018 Code of Ethics that apply to the situation. Several key principles are particularly relevant. Under Principle 1, which addresses competence and professional development with a focus on non-maleficence, we must consider Section 1E, which requires us to make evidence-based practice decisions while taking into account the unique values and circumstances of our patients. We must also apply Section 1F, which calls on us to recognize and exercise professional judgment within our limits and scope of practice while collaborating with others when needed, specifically other members of the care team. Principle 2, which focuses on autonomy, is particularly relevant through Section 2H, which mandates that we respect patient-client autonomy and safeguard confidentiality. This directly applies to our patient's expressed wishes regarding her current care. Under Principle 3, which addresses beneficence, Section 3A requires us to participate in and contribute to decisions that affect patient well-being. Additionally, Section 3B calls on us to respect the values, rights, and knowledge of all parties involved, including both our patient and her daughter. In this particular case, they both have conflicting opinions on the mother's uh, future care, and this is what makes this case very complicated and complex. Now, let's discuss how these principles should guide our response to the situation. The principle of autonomy requires us to take our patient's wishes seriously and respect her right to make decisions about her own care. However, the principle of non-maleficence requires us to ensure that any changes in care that we provide don't cause harm to the patient. Beneficence calls us to act in the patient's best interest while considering all factors, including both her current expressed wishes and her ability to make informed decisions due to her dementia. As for my specific recommended response to the situation, I would first take several concrete steps, and this would be initiated by a consultation with the broader healthcare team to really assess the patient's decision-making capacity and current medical status. I would primarily reach out to the patient's nurse first, as they are usually the most accessible and they spend the most amount of time with the patient, so they'll have the best idea of their current state and what they're doing well at and what they're not doing well at, as well as their overall cognitive status in this case. I would also request an ethics committee consultation to help navigate this complex situation. The resource is available for us, so we might as well use it when we have to. When speaking with the patient, I would say something along the lines of, I understand that you're feeling tired of having the tube feeding in. Could you tell me more about what you're experiencing? What aspects of the tube feeding process are most difficult for you? I want to make sure we understand your wishes and concerns fully. Now, not only will this give us a better idea of specifically what is bothering her about the tube feeding situation, it will also show the patient that we are trying to prioritize her comfort as much as possible, despite what she may think. When addressing the daughter, I would say something along the lines of, I hear your concerns about your mother's nutrition and safety, and these are very valid concerns. Let's discuss what options we have available, and let's involve, our healthcare team to evaluate your mother's ability to eat safely without the tube. We really want to make sure that we are involving the family members and the daughter in this case in the care process as much as possible. The next steps would include arranging some sort of family meeting or care conference with the complete healthcare team, the patient, and the family, discussing the importance of having an advance directive in place for future decisions to avoid the situation that we're currently in, and exploring possible solutions that kind of force both parties to come to a compromise. For example, we might consider a trial period of oral feeding with careful monitoring of nutritional status and safety. This can be done with a one-to-one supervision status where a nurse or a caregiver will actually sit with the patient and make sure that they are eating their food and they're safe. I would also recommend a palliative care consultation to help address quality of life concerns and just assist with general complex medical decision making. Throughout this process, thorough documentation of all discussions and decisions would be essential to keep on file. So, remember our role as nutrition and dietetics professionals is to advocate for patient autonomy while at the same time ensuring safety, balance, competing ethical principles, and facilitate communication between all parties, maintaining thorough documentation, and finally, utilizing available resources like ethics committees when needed. This case demonstrates the complexity of ethical decision making in this field of nutrition and dietetics, particularly when working with patients who have cognitive impairment. It's crucial to approach such situations with empathy, professionalism, and a thorough understanding of our ethical obligations.